What is up, YouTube? Today I'm going to talk to you guys about what my experience as a real estate agent for my first 5 months, how it's been, how's it been going. There's a few things to keep in mind when going into real estate. One of them is that it's going to require a lot of money to get started. But when I say a lot, I don't mean well, yeah, it takes a lot of money. It probably took me about, rough estimate, $1,500 to get my license, but that's also including some extra hoops I had to jump through for various reasons. Estimate on average of how much it would probably cost to get your license, I would say $600 to $700 on average. Now, I did take the cheapest real estate license classes I could find, and it's actually called Real Estate U. They have a sale that's been going on for, honestly, I don't know how long, but they have discounted classes for $99, and it has like all the official, the two main official courses that you have to take in order to take the actual licensing exam. But I'll leave a link in the comments to the description for the class. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you want to get your real estate license certification online through realestateu.com, just keep in mind that you're gonna have to pay, I think, $27 twice for a proctor midway through the course and at the end of the course. Now, once both parts of the course have been completed, you then have the ability to go and take the actual licensing exam. Now, the actual licensing exam itself costs, I believe, somewhere around $50. I don't think it varies from state to state, but it costs around $50 just to take the licensing exam itself. Now, with that said, if you are going to go gung-ho, like full investment, like you definitely want to be a real estate agent, I would advise taking the course that you think would best prepare you for the licensing exam based on what type of learner you are. Like what type of, like if you're a visual learner, it might be a better idea to take a physical class. If you're more like an auditory type of learner, and slides like slides work for you, like PowerPoint slides work for you, then it might be better to take the online version because it's a lot cheaper too. Probably like 4 times cheaper than it is to take physical classes. Physical classes usually cost somewhere between, I would say, $200 and $400. The online classes, as of now, they only cost $100. If you do want to go the online certification route, I would definitely consider visiting Real Estate U because they have a really cheap online. They're the cheapest classes I could find. There's a few things you realize along the way that if I didn't know before I got the license, I might have maybe done some things differently. But it's been about 5 months now since I got my license, and full disclosure, I have not made a sale yet. I know, but I do have clients, and I even actually got clients. Like as soon as I told them that I was getting my license, they give me their business card. It's not that hard to get clients all the time. Once they realize that you're a real estate agent, they get really excited, and they're like, "Oh, that's great! I was actually thinking about doing this to my property or doing that to my property," and then you get their contact information and everything like that. But once you actually go and try and reach out to them, then they tend to get cold feet, and I guess they realize the gravity of the situation, house and move, and once people start thinking about that, I think that's what makes them afraid to really go ahead and close that deal. Now, we tend to find ways to be able to calm the customer's nerves during this, important time of their life where they're wanting to either move or sell their house or both. So, I'm still getting used to it, but I have done a few other different types of sales jobs, and I know that a lot of times when you don't put too much pressure on a customer and you make it seem, or not seem, but you actually let it be their decision without pressuring them into it, you usually have an easier time being able to actually close a deal and make that happen. Now it's been 5 months, and I think I have about 4 customers in my sphere of influence. Now that's without any type of lead generation website, without any type of advertising. Like no, absolutely no money spent on that. Honestly, I don't even have business cards yet. I should. I don't know why I don't, but so the advertising I've done is very minimal. So for me to to still have clients basically by word of mouth, I think that's something that I was afraid of going into real estate. What if I'm not able to make clients because they don't knows who I am? But I've learned that it's actually easier than expected to make, at least for me in my experience, it's actually even easier than expected to make clients. Now, getting the clients to actually want to sell you their house, or getting the clients to actually trust you to help them buy a house, trust you to sell, that's a different story. You got to build trust, and that's where the reputation comes into play. And with that, we'll go into the brokerage. Now, there's a big names, in the real estate brokerage, like, Berkshire Hathaway. That's the company I work for. And right down the road from us, there's 2 other major names in real estate: Coldwell Banker, Howard Hanna, Century 21, Joyce, whatever you call it, Joyce something. But there's a lot of big names in real estate that most customers will recognize as soon as you say it. But there's also a lot of smaller names in real estate that a lot of customers don't recognize, but they're still in business. They're still doing great business, and that's one thing that I wish I understood a little bit more before I started. See, the main difference between a big name business like Berkshire Hathaway and a smaller name business like X, Y, and Z, there's honestly a lot of smaller brokerages that not a lot of people have heard of. The big difference between that is, at least from what I understand so far, a lot of times the commission split is different. Now, I also work on the sales team, so with that itself, the commission split is different than someone from my brokerage who works independently. I believe it's 60-40 for me, as in I get 60 and the brokerage gets 40. I know that if I went solo, the split would be 80-20, as in I would get 80% of profit and the brokerage would get 20%. And the reason I chose to go with the sales team is because they have many members that I know have a lot of experience, so I thought that hopefully one of them would go out of their way to, or may not go out of their way, but hopefully one of them would be willing to kind of guide me along in the process, to show me the ins and outs of real estate as I was starting. Now, the expectation and the reality of that was not quite what I expected, and I think this might vary from team to team. But entering the team, I still kind of feel like I'm more or less of a solo agent. So the more I go into it, the more I question whether it was the best move to be on a team as opposed to just going solo, because it's been a few months and I still feel like I'm kind of more or less doing everything by myself until they actually one day want to go ahead and gung-ho and just make the decision. So I'm just hoping and praying that soon I can actually get a deal, because I was told that I would be able to close a deal within 2 months of getting my license, and it's been 5 and I'm yet to close a deal. But like I said, I still have clients, so it's not like I can't, it's just it hasn't happened yet. So we'll see how much being on a team affects that. Now, another thing that has affected my ability to close a deal right away after getting the license is the way that the brokerage itself is set up. There's some brokerages that, like Berkshire Hathaway and Century 21, that require training for new agents. Now, how long and where the training is depends on the brokerage. I live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. or in the Harrisburg area, put it that way. And actually, like just outside of Harrisburg. But I have to drive probably about 5 miles from the brokerage to class, basically like a few days a week for training, and it is pretty time consuming. And I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty boring. But once I completed the training, I supposedly am supposed to be able to, I guess, be a full-fledged like agent on the team itself, and I will see what happens when I complete the training. But the reason I bring this up is that other brokerages like Howard Hanna, for example, now they're a pretty big name brokerage as well, but they require no training. I was told that basically I would just have to go out into the field and figure things out myself. Last thing I want to talk about is dues. And when I say dues, there's dues you got to pay to your brokerage. There's dues you got to pay to the Association of Realtors. There's a lot of dues you have to pay, and I'm meaning in hundreds of dollars. Like the last due I had to pay was to the Association of Realtors for $150, and I know in 3 or 4 days I have another $450 due to them for the same thing, basically to keep my license. Basically, to be a real estate agent, you gotta keep paying these dues to make sure that you're a functional agent. And if you don't, then they would, I guess, probably suspend your license until you pay the dues. Now that's definitely something to keep in mind, because if you don't have another job, or if you don't have a ton of family support behind you, it might make it very difficult to maintain or keep paying those dues without making any sales. Myself might have to consider that, but we'll see. But I do hope that I can build enough of a rapport in this area so that I can build a clientele base, so that within a year or two, that that clientele base will just kind of be working itself, basically. I'll have clients, listings that are already ready to go. I'll have listings that are ready to sell, and I'll have other clients that are willing to buy, and hopefully the two and two will kind of converge, and the clients that are looking to buy will hopefully be interested in some of my listings. But in order to do that, you got to build a customer base, and that I have not really done yet. But like I said, even basically as soon as people knew I was gonna get a license, I just started getting business cards. So it's not really the hardest thing in the world to build a customer base. What's more important is learning what you have to do in order to close the deals, and hopefully I'll be able to do that soon and let you guys know how that went. And I will definitely post a video so that you guys can get an idea of what it's like to close your first deal. So if you do like this video, like, comment, subscribe. If I said anything wrong, please let me know. If you guys want me to talk about another topic in real estate, let me know. Go and help them. So if you like it, give us a thumbs up, and see you guys in the next video. Peace out.